All right, we're on hole number 5 of the St. Patrick's Day tournament. We're in Monday's practice round in the rookie division. I'm in my odd account, so I'm in my practice account for my upper developed clubs. So 77 is my primary rookie account, and I use odd for practice. They have very similar clubs, so pretty much anything I can get done in one, I can get done in the other. I have a few clubs that are different, but they're pretty dang close. Glen Monarch Estates, and we're on hole number 4. And these par 4s are a huge focus. So I'm going to try out, okay, here's the shot. Here's the shot. The wind is blowing in this direction. And the wind, so like talking trajectory, the last time we were on this tournament, the wind was blowing right like this. So if we talk about line to the cup, being out here, you had a pure tailwind. The wind this time is kind of blowing like this to the cup. So the last tournament, I saw a lot of people that were trying to overdrive it and trying to get out into this area. And the deal was, if you draw an arc, like right here, we're a min short iron. So if you draw the arc across here, this is min short iron. They weren't netting anything by going out farther. They were still in minimum short iron, but they were taking the risk of having to hit through this little narrow gap. And the wind was blowing like this, and they were actually putting themselves at an angle to the wind, so they had a side wind. And so I was blown away by the fact that so many people were trying to get out here, because it actually was a worse shot. It was a worse place to be than just laying it up right here. And it was so easy to lay up. But the way the wind's blowing here, if you're one of those people that really likes to shoot it out and you want to get a little more distance, it might not be a bad thing to try and get through the gap to get out here so that the wind's blowing at your back. With the way that the wind is blowing in this tournament from here, if you're over here, now you're hitting against a pure side wind. So once again, this white shot is, in my opinion, while it is a shot, it's been taken out by the way the wind's blowing. Because from right here, we're in a minimum short iron. You hit it perfect, bam, you're in the hole. Okay, you got a super good shot at eagle. I'm still practicing, so I know that shot. In one-on-one play, I take that shot all the time. I know that shot. And if you bring out a bigger ball, like a Kingmaker, if you've got an upper developed rock, you can start off over here with your upper developed rock, start off in this area, and you can bring it over here with side spin. It takes about 3 top spin. If you're using an extra mile, you got a little bit more raw distance, and you really want to put on 1, maybe 1.5, but I would stick closer to the 1 because you don't want to bleed off into this rough. What I'm going to try here is I'm going to come out and I'm going to bring out a 3-power ball and try and see where I can land out here, where I'm going to see if I can get it all the way over and actually get up on the green side and do not a hook, but a max curl shot coming from this direction. I'm going to start off trying this with my extra mile, and I'm going to put my secondary bag with a level 4 Apocalypse and see like what the look looks like. This is what the hole traditionally looks like. Okay, they've changed some things for this tournament, and there are a bunch of trees right here. And so the hook that we used to be able to do from here to try and get on, you can't do that anymore, because as soon as you start to do the hook, or if you bring out an Apocalypse and you try and do a max curl shot, bam, you're going to hit these trees. I came out here and practiced with a extra mile on a power 4 ball, and I ended up once in the fairway, once in the sand, once in the rough. And I couldn't get it any farther to the left, because my landing area out here, if I went farther to the left to try and make it in farther to the left, I'd end up in the sand. So I had to stay to the right of the sand in order to make the shot happen, and I couldn't get around the bend. So I brought my Apocalypse out thinking, hey, I'll just solve this problem with more curl, and then bam, hit the trees. Because the trees weren't there before. But they're there now. And so I burned a 4-power ball into the trees and ended up like right out here in the rough. It sucked. Okay, so the only way we're going to be able to do if we're trying to get over is to go this way, which is more problematic, because instead of just trying to bleed in the rough, we could end up potentially in the sand. But I'm going to try this shot just because I'm practicing today, and I know how to do the layup shot here. So I'm going to try the shot with a bigger power ball, with a power 3 ball. And I'm going to bring Titans because I don't want to burn off any Kingmakers, since I have limited balls in this account. And I want to make sure in my second bag that I bring out an APOC. So raw distance versus an extra mile. I'm losing 3 yards of distance. and I'm losing a little bit of topspin, but I don't think we have to put on all the topspin, but I am gaining a bunch of curl. So it'll be one of those two clubs, and I'm not going to be too concerned on the first shot here whether I time out, because today's practice. So I want to see what each one of them looks like, and if I have time, I'll remember to switch to a white ball. But I want to see what these shots look like with both clubs. So like I said, I'm not worried about timing out. Today's practice. If you're watching these videos because you're looking for all these perfect setups and like in the hole, today's practice. It may happen and it may not happen. We shall see. So with an extra mile, that's what kind of distance I'm looking at there. And if I put on all of the side spin, so like max overpower, I'm going to end up in the sand. Let's see if I can put on. And if I swing that around, like would I hit out in here and be able to just bounce over? I'm going to try it without any overpower. 2 rings off. I'm going to take the wind out 2-2, which is a little teeny bit over a ring. I'm going to put the power back in it. And I'm just going to try a max curl or max shot and see where it ends up. Yeah, I hit it great to the right. And I just want to see, like, does it get over? No. That little bit of power I put in there put the second bounce so that it clipped the rough. So we definitely want to take all of the wind out on that and see like what the deal is. But my trajectory going in, I think maybe even if I'd have cleared it, I might have ended up in the sand on the other side. It might have to be an apocalypse just for the curl. And you probably wouldn't have to do max curl. Now you're using an enforcer ball. Even if you're trying to bleed through that spot and get over there where they're at, and they got lucky they popped out, but that's the angle. The wind should be pretty much right behind their back. You don't have to do max on that. So where you're going to end up on a normal shot is right in this area right here. And this would be the shot that you're going to be looking at in most cases, is this shot from right here. And I mean, you'll get that close. If you put that 1.5 topspin on an extra mile, you're going to end up that close. And that, to me, is too close. That's why I say maybe dropping it down to just 1. And you can see where they've gotten out there where the wind is right behind them. So it's almost a pure tailwind from their spot. Just that little change in real estate, that extra 20 or 30 yards forward, can make it a little bit easier to do those wind adjustments. Hopefully they won't make it in so I can take my shot. So this is where you would normally be, and this is the shot that you would normally be taking. So we're in minimum club. We're right at min. And we've got a little teeny bit of a side tailwind. And it's 2.4 per ring is how I play it when it's at minimum club. Right on that side. 2.4 per ring, and I'm going to add on 10%, so that's 3.7. There's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That leaves me 1.4. That's 1. I'm going to go about a ring and a third. Or a ring and 2/3, excuse me. I tried to snap it off because I was running out of time. And you're right there. Just right out. That's the angle that I traditionally come at this hole. But I do think if you netted a little bit more distance, whereas in the last tournament I thought the people that were trying to net more distance were crazy because they were actually making themselves hit against side wind as opposed to a pure tailwind, that in this tournament getting out there an extra 10, 20 yards of raw distance is not a bad deal. All right, we got some good practice on that. Learned a few things. I will come back at that hole. I'm gonna continue with my odd account as the week goes on. I'm going to continue to practice that and see what my options are for getting over. I want to hit that shot where I get it right to see where the bounce puts me on the other side, and then once I get that done once, then I'll go out there with my apocalypse and see like where I'm at. And in my 77 account, what I'm going to work on is trying to get net more distance. I want to see like how hard is it to bleed through to get up in here? Does it really put you at risk, or is it a pretty easy thing? Because where I'm ending up here and where I'm trying to get here, we're only talking about maybe 20 yards. So whereas instead of using one top spin, maybe putting on 3 top spin, and instead of putting on side spin to bring it around, just trying to hit it straight through and bleed through. The problem here is if your trajectory is wrong, you're going to end up in the sand, or you're going to end up in that rough. Whereas here, you can get to the spot super easy, and the wind's not too bad. You're not having to hit against a pure side wind. So it may be one of those things that, yes, this spot's better, but it's so dangerous to get out there, and this shot is so consistent that it's worth having to hit up against that little bit of side wind from this spot. So I'm working on this hole to see which way is the best way to come at it in this tournament. And I'll continue to work it as the week goes on. But by the time we get to the opening round, I'll have picked a pony. And that will be the pony that I will ride in the whole time through. But in my auto account, I am going to continue to try and get up on the green in one. All right. That was hole number 5? That was hole number 5 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day Tournament and Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.